I purchased a Tesla Model 3 a little over 2 years ago, and I have to say it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's one of the best vehicles I've ever owned, and I have no buyer's remorse whatsoever. But fast forward to 2022, and more recently, because of world events, gas prices are on the rise, and many people are considering more than ever, should they purchase an EV in 2022? So in today's video, I want to talk about 5 reasons why you probably should hold off and wait, and why you should not purchase an EV in 2022. All right, so the first reason why you should not purchase an EV right now is they are more expensive than ever. Now, there's a lot of things that are contributing to it, but looking at the average cost of an EV, such as a Tesla Model 3, for example, before your potential tax savings and gas savings, things of that nature, you're going to spend roughly around $50,000 on that vehicle after you sign all the paperwork. Now, I looked on Tesla's website, and for the cheapest rear-wheel drive version of their Model 3, after you do all the paperwork, pay all the fees and things of that nature, you're going to spend roughly about $50K. And if you want a long-range version, or if you even want a performance, you're obviously going to spend way more money than that. And that's even in comparison to when I purchased mine 2 years ago. That's almost $12,000 more than what I purchased mine for. Now, I did buy mine at the beginning of a pandemic when things were a little bit cheaper because there was the uncertainty of the market. But just in 2 years, that's a huge swing for how much that car cost. And then when you compare it to things like the Ford Mustang Mach-E, that's roughly about $50,000 for even the cheapest version. And the F-150 Lightning that's coming out, they're all in that same camp right there, where they're just more expensive because it's more expensive to make them right now. And with all that being said, that's most likely because of these next 2 reasons that you probably shouldn't purchase one right now. With the second one being that right now there's a delay in the delivery dates. So because demand is probably higher than it's ever been, that is affecting the prices of these vehicles. Obviously, it's good business, right, when it comes to supply versus demand, to raise the cost of the vehicle just because more people want it and more people are willing to pay for it. So I've seen some people that have ordered a car at the end of last year or the beginning of this year that still have not received their vehicle. And a lot of that has to do with supply chain, which is the third reason probably why you shouldn't buy one right now. Elon even said on Twitter, with Teslas more specifically, because the cost of raw materials is so high, the cost of the vehicles have to increase. And then there's delays with getting chips in other parts of the vehicles. Now, you've seen some vehicle manufacturers actually ship their cars that are missing certain pieces. Like, I think a little while back, there was some cars that Tesla had released that didn't come with USB-C ports. And it doesn't mean that they didn't replace them later, but that can be a huge issue when you're trying to bring a lot of vehicles to market. This is still something that's relatively new. It's under a lot of scrutiny from a lot of people that are kind of hesitant to switch over to electric vehicles. And just the supply chain shortage is really not helping. So because of that, I would tell you to hold off at least until the supply chain issues kind of get sorted out, because those 3 things are hopefully only temporary and won't affect the EV market in the long haul. All right, the next 2 that I'll talk about are kind of EV specific. It's not necessarily just a result of things that are going on right now in the world economy and things of that nature, but I would tell people to hold off on buying an EV this year, especially if you do not have the charging infrastructure or the ability to charge at your house. I've said this numerous times. There are some great EVs on the market, but the reason why Tesla is so great and just kind of miles ahead of what everybody else has is because of their charging network. I mean, I've taken my car and I've driven it across country, and just being able to navigate from charger to charger without having to worry about where will I charge or if there will be a charger there is a nice feeling. So the fact that outside of Tesla, there really isn't a strong EV charging network yet, this has a lot of people really hesitant to get a vehicle, but it also can be a huge headache and a sore point for a lot of people that purchase their cars now. So if you're in the market for an EV, one of the best things I'll tell you is make sure you have a good place to charge at your house. It's going to be the most cost effective and also the most convenient. You won't have to worry about stopping and filling up every single day or charging your vehicle. Until the charging infrastructure and networks catch up to almost like gas stations are now, most people should probably hold off, especially if you stay in an apartment complex or you don't have a dedicated place to charge, it's just going to be more headache than it's worth. And just don't do it. I'm sorry, just don't do it. They're great though, but if that's your circumstances, it's probably just not for you. And the last thing that I'll touch on that's probably very important is we're kind of at this spot where we're seeing technology advance. I mean, that's one of the things that's great about technology is it's always improving. But also as technology improves and manufacturers get better at making these cars, then the price is going to go down. So right now we're at an all-time high when it comes to EVs, whether it be a Tesla or a Rivian or even Ford and their vehicles that they're coming out with. And even though that's not necessarily a reflection of the technology just being expensive, it's more so, like I mentioned, because of world events. We're going to hopefully see the price of these cars go down with time, especially as battery technology is starting to improve. You're seeing more range get put into these vehicles. And that's a great thing, especially for EVs. It's going to help ease a lot of people's nervousness that they have about going over to an EV and maybe potentially running out of battery somewhere on the road. And as that battery technology improves, then that would be the time hopefully to see more adoption. So I'm excited to see what these EV makers come out with in the future. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm in the market for a second EV. I don't know if that'll necessarily be a Tesla, even though I do really love Tesla vehicles. But the fact that more attention is being brought to the market means that hopefully we'll see more innovation in the future. But there you have it. Those are my 5 reasons why you probably should not buy an EV right now. Let me know down in the comments, do you agree with anything that I said? Is there something that I missed? Or do you think that I'm totally wrong and you should just go ahead and do it regardless? I'd love to have a conversation about it down in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, remember to please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.